Good morning and welcome to First Unitarian Universalist Church of Columbus. I'm Reverend Dr. Marian Stewart. It is my pleasure to welcome you on this sunny morning of spring. This morning we are going to celebrate with each other a flower ceremony as we highlight the flowers from your garden. That will be a little bit later in this service. But right now, I just want to give you a warm springtime welcome. We are so glad you are here. This is a picture from last year's flower communion. I see Sue's up there going, don't take my picture, but the flowers are gorgeous, just as is each person in our community and elsewhere. Thank you for joining us, and let us center ourselves as Nathan plays us in with our prelude.
Welcome everyone to week 5 of our virtual service. My name is Steve Abbott and I serve as a worship associate here at First UU. We are also thrilled that you've joined us for another Sunday morning service. Maybe you're dropping in virtually to experience First UU. If so, thank you for joining us today. We're so glad that you're visiting with us this morning. If you have any questions or would like to know more about who we are and the amazing opportunities we have to plug in and connect with others during this time, then please send Kelly McNeil an email. We'll put her email in the chat box for you. And we also want to say hi to all of our visitors from last week who reached out to let us know that you've been tuning in our services. Welcome back. Thank you for reaching out. As always, we have a few announcements. Like last week, we will be having a time for joys and sorrows later in this service. If you would like to join us and send us a joy or sorrow, Reverend Eric will let you know when it's time to type that into the chat box. For the past few weeks, we've experimented with offering virtual coffee hour after the service. We think it was a lot of fun, so if you're interested in joining us again this week, we'll provide you with a link for that. For today's coffee hour after the service, please bring any flowers you want to show off to us. I know we're all looking forward to some lovely colors. We want to remind you that we have an online chat opportunity open 24/7 over our Discord channel. Check out the chat box for a link to that. Our UU Cares program is up and running, and if you would like to participate in this buddy system program, please let Reverend Eric know. More information about the program is on our website. We're entering week 5 of our UU at Home program, so please head over to firstuucolumbus.org/online to see all of our videos and blog posts. If you aren't getting an email reminder each time we upload a new video, Please let Kelly McNeil know, and she will get you on the mailing list. And finally, thank you to everyone who joined us for our community chat time on Thursday. If you missed this week's chat, don't worry. We offer it each Thursday from 7 to 8 p.m. This week will be a game night. As you can see, going virtual is not preventing us from staying connected. If you have any questions, or if I went a little too fast through these announcements, we'll put links to everything in the chat box, and you can always go to our website and find out all of this information there. Please don't hesitate to reach out and let us know if you need anything. First Unitarian Universalist Church of Columbus is here.
Thank you, Steve. I would like to invite us all to sing together for the beauty of the earth. We will sing verses 1, 3, and 4.
For our chalice lighting this morning, I offer these words from Galway Canal. The bud stands for all things, even for those things that don't flower. For everything flowers from within of self-blessing, though sometimes it is necessary to reteach a thing its loveliness. Our chalice is lit.
And now Amber will bring us our time for all ages.
Good morning. I'm your religious exploration coordinator, Amber Scott. For today's story, we are going to learn some history of the Unitarian Universalist ritual, the flower ceremony. This story is a part of the Tapestry of Faith curriculum and was adapted from Janeen K. Grohsmeyer's book, Lamp in Every Corner, Our UU Storybook. The flower ceremony, a plain and simple beauty. In the city of Prague, in the land of Czechoslovakia, in the year 1923, there was a church. But the building did not look much like a church. It had no bells, no spires, no stained glass windows. It had no organ to make beautiful music. It didn't even have a piano. It had no carvings of wood or statues of stone. It had no candles or chalices. It had no flowers. The church did have some things. It had 4 walls and a ceiling and a floor. It had a door and a few windows. It had some wooden chairs, but that was all, plain and simple. Except the church also had people who came to it every Sunday. It had a minister, and his name was Norbert Čapek. He had been the minister at the plain and simple church for 2 years. Every Sunday, Minister Chopek went to church and he spoke to the people while they listened, sitting quietly and still in those hard wooden chairs. When he was done speaking, the people talked a little bit among themselves, and then they went home. And that was all. No music, no candles, no food, not even coffee or donuts. Springtime came to the city of Prague, and Norbert Chopek went out for a stroll. The rains had come, and the birds were singing, and flowers were blooming all over the land. The world was beautiful. Then an idea came to him, simple and clear, plain as day. The next Sunday, he asked all the people in the church to bring a flower or a budding branch, or even a twig. Each person was to bring one. What kind? They asked. What color? What size? You choose, he said. Each of you choose what you like. And so, on the next Sunday, which was the first day of summer, the people came with flowers of all different colors and sizes and kinds. There were yellow daisies and red roses. There were white lilies and blue asters, dark-eyed pansies and light green leaves. Pink and purple, orange and gold, there were all those colors and more. Flowers filled all the vases, and the church wasn't so plain and simple anymore. Minister Chopek spoke to the people while they listened, sitting quiet and still in those hard wooden chairs. These flowers are like ourselves, he said, different colors and different shapes and different sizes, each needing different kinds of care, but each beautiful, each important and special in its own way. When he was done speaking, the people talked a little bit among themselves, and then they each chose a different flower from the vases before they went home. And that was all. And it was beautiful, plain, and simple as the day. The end. Think about all the different people in our church and all the different people in your life. Different colors, shapes, and sizes, different ages, experiences, and opinions, but each beautiful, each important, and each special in our own way. Individually, you are beautiful, you are loved, and you are enough. And all together, we make a truly lovely bouquet.
Thanks, Amber. I love being reminded of that true story from our tradition. Good morning, everyone. Later in our time together this morning, I'll offer a prayer for all of those in our community who are experiencing grief, loss, or moments of celebration. As Steve mentioned earlier, please use the chat box starting now to type in your full name and in 10 words or less the sorrow or joy you wish to share, and then select Send to Panelists. Thank you. Steve will now offer our reading this morning.
This reading is by Lucy Shaw from her collection, The Green Earth, Poems of Creation. Title is, What Secret Purple Wisdom? What word informs the world and moves the worm along in his blind tunnel? What secret purple wisdom tells the iris edges to unfold in frills? What juiced and emerald thrill urges the sap until the bud resolves its tight riddle? What irresistible command unfurls this cloud about this greening hill? Or one more wave, its spreading foam and foil across the flats of sand? What minor thrust of energy issues up from humus in a froth of ferns? Delicate as a lacer, it filigrees the snow, the stars. Listen close. What silver sound thaws winter into spring, speaks clamor into singing, gives love for loneliness? It is this unterrestrial pulse, deep as heaven, that folds you in its tingling embrace, gongs in your echo heart.
Thank you, Steve, for sharing our reading. This morning, I'd like to speak to you about beauty, and beauty even when it's hard to find. When I was growing up, there used to be a joke that floated all around. I grew up in North Carolina, and the joke went something like this: if God is not a Tar Heel, then why are the skies Carolina blue? Well, when I heard that joke, you'd look up and the skies were blue. But I also heard growing up, or a little bit later, that the skies used to be 40% bluer than what they were then, at that time. I can only imagine it's 50 or 60% now. The skies used to be bluer. But on this 50th anniversary of Earth Day, even as the ice sheets are still continuing to melt, the skies indeed are beginning to clear. People are staying home, reducing emissions of travel and industry. The lions are roaming the streets of South Africa, and the sea turtles in Florida are making their way to the beach without the aid of fluorescent streetlights. In India, air pollution has dropped so much that the golden haze that permanently shrouded all manner of things has lifted. Pictures in split frame show the hint of tree-lined avenue to the Taj Mahal. On the left-hand side, it was so clouded and hazy and kind of orange gold tones. But on that same screen on the right-hand side, a current day picture of the Taj Mahal with blue skies and all of the majesty of the building. It's just amazing. On NPR, a reporter remarked, "Mother Earth is healing herself as joy as the skies are clearing in India." The reporter continues, "Social media is flooded with pictures of things that people can suddenly see from their windows, some more believable than others. One person joked that he could see the Eiffel Tower from central India. Another said they spotted aliens on Mars. And someone wrote that he could see the gods from his balcony." That might be so, I don't know. But years ago, I climbed a hill in India to wait for sunrise so that we could light candles and make offerings to the gods. Looking over the city below, as the horizon brightened, I remember the colors of the city and the landscape as if they were an old-fashioned photo in umber tones. The pollution was there 24/7. But now in India, in China, and indeed from outer space, the natural colors are shining. Nature, you might say, is going natural, and it's a sight to behold. There is beauty everywhere. My first year at seminary at Starr King in Berkeley, I went on a street retreat in the Tenderloin district of San Francisco. For a day, I walked around the multi-block area that was home to thousands of people experiencing homelessness. City services were concentrated there. Food banks and churches serving meals were on seemingly every corner. It was a bleak and destitute place. One fellow I met, I saw him over a trash can and I ventured, "Hello." And he stopped and looked up and said, "It's been so long since I've seen a smile." I didn't even know I had smiled. He saw beauty in that hello. Another person saw me looking up at a huge billboard advertising renovation to come to the neighborhood. This renovation promised a bright future. She huffed and she kind of puffed as she said, they plan to tear down that large stone church just up the street from where we were. With the tearing down of that church, it might have helped the neighborhood as far as city planners are concerned. But for her, this was a place of beauty. You see, she went there every morning, sat in the silent sanctuary, in a pew, and looked up at the stained glass windows. She soaked it all in, and that was the beauty that lasted her for the day. This made me wonder about beauty itself. Is progress always beauty? Is beauty a gift that gets torn out of our hearts or renovated out of our hearts? Or is beauty and the need for it a permanent resident of our very being? Rumi once said, "Observe the wonders as they occur around you. Don't claim them. Feel the artistry moving through, and be silent." Maybe beauty is not to be owned, but experienced. In an interview with NPR's Krista Tippett, John O'Donohue reflected, "Beauty isn't all about just loveliness. Beauty is more rounded, substantial, becoming." So I think beauty in that sense is about an emerging fullness, a greater sense of grace and elegance, a deeper sense of depth, and also a kind of homecoming for the enriched memory of our unfolding lives. I want to sit for just a moment with this idea of beauty. Where do you find beauty in your life? Have you ever found beauty in unexpected places? Has beauty ever surprised you? We'll take these questions home with us and into coffee hour as well. But for now, blessed be and amen as we go into our flower communion. This morning we celebrate Earth Day, 50th anniversary of Earth Day, but we also celebrate our annual flower communion. You heard a little bit of the history when Amber told us the Time for All Ages story about the origins of flower communion, but I'd like to read this to you from the UUA website about why we celebrate flower communion. It has a little more detail. The Unitarian Universalist flower communion service, which we are about to celebrate, originated in 1923 by Dr. Norbert Čapek, founder of modern Unitarian movement in Czechoslovakia. On the last Sunday before summer recess of the Unitarian Church in Prague, all the children and adults participated in the colorful ritual, which gives concrete expression to the humanity-affirming principles of our liberal faith. When the Nazis took control of Prague in 1940, they found Dr. Čapek's gospel of inherent worth and beauty of every human person to be, as Nazi court records show, too dangerous for the Reich for Čapek to be allowed to live. Dr. Čapek was sent to Dachau, where he was killed the next year in a Nazi medical experiment. This gentle man suffered a cruel death, but his message of human hope and decency lives through flower communion, which is widely celebrated today. It is a noble and meaningful filled ritual, which we are about to recreate in our own time and in our own way online, still holding the life-affirming principle of our Unitarian Universalist faith. Every year when Dr. Čapek would announce flower communion, he had a series of prayers and rituals to actually frame the flower ceremony itself. I offer you now his words as we start our flower communion. Infinite Spirit of life, we are asking blessings on these, thy messengers of fellowship and love. May they remind us amid diversities of knowledge and gifts to be one in desire and affection and devotion to thy holy will. May they also remind us of the value of comradeship, of doing and sharing alike. May we cherish friendship as one of the most precious gifts. May we not let awareness of another's talents discourage us or sully our relationship, but may we realize that whatever we can do, great or small, the efforts of all are needed by us to do the work in this world. I now invite you to enjoy our music with Lara as we engage in our flower communion online.
Sviet je blod
Even and
Thank you
especially when
so
we are
much for the music and the flower communion. I would like to end our flower communion with a Navajo prayer. Beauty is before me and beauty behind me. Above me and below me hovers the beautiful. I am surrounded by, I am immersed in it. In my youth, I am aware of it, and in old age, I shall walk quietly the beautiful trail. In beauty, it is begun. In beauty, it is ended. Blessed be, and thank you all for bringing flowers to our wonderful flower communion.
even and especially when we are apart. We are a church that figures out how to come together and form community, online and off. We encourage and support each other, knowing that our interdependence demands that we help those in need and protect the natural world in the same way we nurture and care for each other. We commit ourselves to taking care of what we have built together, making sure there is enough to support our vision and helping those who, particularly at this time, are in need. To offer our gifts and pay our promised pledges is to demonstrate our deeper values in a tangible way. Our Share the Plate recipient for April is the Ark of Appalachia. The Ark is dedicated to saving Ohio's wildlands. Their byline is, "Every nonprofit has its niche. Ours is to buy back the land. Help us turn dollars into diversity." The Ark has recently completed 8 acquisitions, returning 524 acres back to nature and preserving unique parts of our state's ecological history. The offering that builds a better world and a better church will now be gratefully received online. You can donate online via text or the church website, bank by mail, or write a check and mail it in. If you need to reduce or skip your pledge or contribution this month due to employment issues, please let the ministers know. For everyone else, if you can, please consider increasing your contribution so we can keep the church running and help those who need help. Your generosity continues to make a difference.
Thank you, Nathan. I don't know about the rest of you, but after the chill of this week, I'm even more grateful for the beauty of flowers in bloom, and I know many of you commented on this as well, the beauty of Laura and Nathan's music. The following submissions are from our Zoom chat this morning, as well as caring card requests that came in during the week. We have one card for today. This morning, we extend our sympathy to Jeannie Sperling and her husband, Sam Kiner. Sam's father, Eugene, died in Cleveland on April 14th at almost 93 years of age. His death was a result of COVID-19. And here's what you have been able to have brought forward this morning. Marilyn reports that her husband, Tom, has been transferred from the hospital to Crown Point Care Rehab to continue healing. They have not been able to see each other in person since he was admitted to the hospital on March 29th. Cards and notes are very much welcome. Leslie reports the sadness of the sudden death of her cousin Brian in Georgia. Leslie, our love to you. Virginia reports that she's grateful to be here with you all, us all, on a lovely Sunday morning. Trying to be grateful, she continues, even for the simple things like clothing and food. Kyla reports that her joy is that she got to see her father and Tutu on Monday. Jeannie offers blessings that we are together and at the same time misses us all. Chris lets us know that today is the second anniversary of his father's death. His mother is still hospitalized. He's having a lot of sad feelings today. Laura reports that her joy is she got a gift card this week. Kelly is letting us know that on Friday, her mother, Cherry, learned that she doesn't have lung cancer. She has a rare lung disease instead, which will require surgery later this spring. Tom, our thoughts go out to supermarket workers and delivery drivers who are suddenly labeled as essential. Yes, working class respect. Dania is thankful that her mother came home last night from the hospital after ovarian cancer surgery. Kathleen says this, and I think she speaks for many of us. Let us always take the beauty of these flowers into the darker moments of our lives to bring hope. And again, many expressed deep gratitude for the gift of Laura's voice with us this morning. In the stillness now of the moment to come, let us remember that the gifts of life and love are still very much with us, and that each of us still has much to give. Together, we emerge from this moment, hearkening back to our chalice lighting words earlier. Let us remember that each bud stands for all things, even for things that don't flower, for everything flowers from within of self-blessing, though sometimes it is necessary to reteach a thing its loveliness. Will you please join with me in singing now, Blue Boat Home?
Standing on these mountains and plains,
Thank you all for singing together one of our favorite songs, Blue Boat Home. For our benediction this morning, I invite you to say the words along with me if you learn the words in school. It's a poem by William Wordsworth, I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats high over vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils. Beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way, they stretched in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 I saw at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not help but be gay in such jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. For oft when I could couch I lie, in vacant or pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. And then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils. My friends, have a lovely, lovely spring day.
As a symbol of our connection and shared vision as a congregation, I invite you to imagine you are holding hands as we say our closing words together. If you'd like, you may place your hands over your heart. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of vision. As we go forth, let us heal and transform ourselves and our world through reason and love.
Everyone is invited to coffee hour after our service. Grab your coffee, tea, or water of choice, and some spring flowers from your garden to show off. After the postlude, you will need to leave this broadcast and then head back to Zoom at 11 o'clock using the meeting link posted in the chat. The church's Discord channel is always open. Pop in anytime to see who's online and have a conversation, or tell church friends to meet you on Discord. Post items of note there or in the church's Facebook group. Thanks for sharing. The links for coffee hour and Discord will be posted again after the postlude.
Special thanks to everyone who made today's worship service possible. Thank you to our worship associate, Steve Abbott, and the lovely soloist, Lara Colby Knights. What a beautiful gift. Our music staff, Brandon Moss, Michaela Jones-Brown, and Nathan Ham. Our ministry team, Kelly McNeil, Reverend Eric Meter, and Reverend Dr. Marion Stewart, and our tech support extraordinaires, Angela Rupert and Don Jones.
And now Nathan will end our service with a postlude.